So I'm back. Intermittently and sporadically, to the best of my ability. I've had numerous friends mention that they miss the videos, and you know, when I originally started making the videos a couple years ago, it was to I'm the kind of person that I process outwardly. I take in, I have to speak, and I work through things sort of as I'm speaking, so I can get long-winded. And you know, I did the videos to work on like my self-confidence and how do I actually feel about things, and to sort of process out loud. And for me, they were an exercise really for myself, and I didn't realize how much people enjoyed them. Even when I'm rambling about absolutely nothing. Just kind of the stuff that I notice throughout my days, and what goes on, and the creative things I'm trying. It's really funny, actually, because I've read a lot of things that say if you want to be successful at something, then you have to not talk about it. Right? I have all these sort of things in orbit around me that I've been I work on a little bit, and then I work on something else, and it's been back and forth, and it's always kind of going in my mind, and I want to talk about them. But I feel like if I talk about them, then you know, talking about it sort of takes some of that drive away. And so I've started putting some things into place so I can get back in a habit of rambling at the camera. Okay, I mean, if that's what you guys want and that's what you guys like, I probably shouldn't be sitting behind the sun. I don't know if I can't even see my own phone. I don't know. The I've grown quite a bit since doing those videos. I have, you know, this year has been a hard year for everybody. And without all the growth I've done in myself, and this year would have been really, really, really hard for me as well. A lot of things could have triggered me. You know, people like to use that word trigger. Oh, I've been triggered. A lot of things would, if I hadn't done the work with myself, I would have been upset all the time and angry all the time and frustrated and full of anxiety, and that's just not the case. I've made some beautiful friendships, and the lesson I learned, this has come up. Okay, we'll just talk about this because this is, I'll move into the sun. This has come up quite a few times, actually, and I find myself, this is what I keep reiterating to people who come to talk to me, is that my dad told me once, a couple years ago, he said, you know, if you're the one that sees the problem, then you're the one responsible for fixing it. And when he originally told me that, it made me very, very, very angry. I thought, that's crap. I hate that. I don't like that. You know, I wish that wasn't true. And I did a lot of thinking about it, but it is. Because if you see the problem, the other person can't. If it's not a problem for them, then they're not seeing it, which is why you're responsible for fixing it. Hi, Sophie.
Hi.
I'll be in a minute. And so if you're unhappy with something, you're the one that's unhappy. You have to fix it. And by fixing it, it doesn't mean yell at other people and be like, no, you do this for me. I have this issue, so you adjust. And it doesn't work that way. And also, the other, you know, things circle around. We create the thing we fear the most. When you allow fear to be in the driver's seat, when you let your fear have control, then you end up creating, I think we do it anyway with words naturally, and actions. What we say and what we do and what we focus on all becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. We create self-fulfilling prophecies. And I've used this example in the past. You know, my grandfather, my mother's father hated hospitals. He hated them, so he avoided them until, guess what? He couldn't avoid them anymore. It went round and round and round to the point that he ended up in the hospital. I'm a mess. He ended up in the place that he didn't want to be because he didn't want to be there. We self-sabotage all the time, I think, as humans. And so when you allow that fear, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to flash boobs. When you allow fear in the driver's seat, you're going to get exactly the thing that you don't want. And so you have to face your fear, and you have to kind of lean in and be authentically you. You have to be yourself. When you're not being real to yourself, then nobody else will ever be able, you'll never be able to accept it from anybody else, whether they're being real or not. Happiness is the same way. You know, any problem or solution, everything starts and ends with only you. And my life changed because I realized, one of the things I sat down and realized is that if these problems are reoccurring, then the problem is me. If I'm ending up with the same results over and over and over again, no matter how, if I'm not changing the way I react to something, if I'm not stopping and checking myself, then then the problem is me, and I have to change. And that's what went on in the last 2 years. People have been really helpful. You know, Jason, the time I've been spending with Jason has been amazing in my ability to have certain situations and have certain things come up, and have a chance to react to them differently, so that I saw that, not necessarily that I'm changing my behavior, but I feel like I'm being more emotionally intelligent, instead of trying to put things off on other people and saying, like, maybe I wasn't raised well enough, or maybe it's this, and, it's you, it's everybody, but it's not me. No, it was me. It's absolutely and totally me. And it took a lot of work and self-esteem, really building my self-esteem, so that I could believe in me. And so that when an emotion would come up and I'd start to feel a certain way, I could look at it and go, I don't really want to feel that. I don't have to believe in those words and believe in these things in the way that it's making me feel. Right? Long time ago, I talked about, like, muscle memory. I think emotions have a muscle memory. Memories have muscle. When you experience a memory, you have an emotional muscle memory reaction. And so I spent time when a feeling would come up that I didn't want associated with something, and go, like, okay, we're not going to do that anymore. I choose to feel happiness instead. Or maybe it's this thing. There were a few things that came up where I can't change it. I can alter myself to a place that makes me happy within my soul, but I can't change or alter other people. I can't force other people to change. And so sometimes you'll run into situations where there is no control. Not really. You have to just accept that, like, there's nothing I can do about that. And spending 18 hours a day worrying about it, or spending the majority of my time worrying about something that I cannot really have an effect on, is a waste of my time and energy. And I don't have to. Man, I felt guilty for so much. When I look back like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I'm surprised at how depressed I was. I was really depressed. I was really struggling and having a hard time. I know it didn't necessarily seem like it, but I had a lot of beliefs about myself that were extremely ugly. But I just don't anymore. Because of my relationships, and Jason being the big one, but even with other people, and the biggest one being the relationship with myself, I've learned so much, I guess, and we'll find out over the course of me making videos, since I'm going to try to make this a habit, a weekly habit, or when I find something interesting, or when I need to process something out loud. It's a busy weekend for me this weekend. I've got some art projects I need to work on, and I'm taking my sister and our kids down to watch sailboats launch for Wadowitz, because I think they'd enjoy that, and they like the beach and stuff. Got to scrub the kitchen floor because it's dirty. And go through, I have a lot of stuff to do. And the time goes so fast. Time goes so fast unless you're, the thing I love about sailing and being on the boat is it's very, very present. What you're dealing with is what's right in front of you, and that's it. You know, you're paying attention to the sails and to the boat and to the channel and the water and the weather, and you're just being, I don't want to necessarily use the term being in the moment, but you're just presently living. And it's sort of, that's kind of like a meditation. And as Terry and some of the crew call it, water therapy. So, water therapy. I think more people should take the chance to go sailing. Because it's kind of also like hiking in the woods. You have to, I think as humans, we need to spend time in nature. You have to spend time outside in nature because it's restorative. Or doing something creative, but I think nature is really important. And I'm not going to ramble too much longer. It's sort of all over the place, and who knows, because we've got to be going. But I'll be making more videos. Hey.